Hello, and welcome to episode 27 of the Sketchbook. Tonight we will be continuing with huts and houses, and let's see how many we get done. As always, I will be using half an hour for each, and I'm going to be focusing mostly on ones with straw roof tonight, I think. But let's see how it goes, and what my hand feels like today. So, as always, I use half an hour on each, roughly, and the first 15 minutes is usually getting the big forms down, and then I start going into a little more detail and then a little more detail. So that's kind of how I do it every time. The first initial steps is also to get the proportions correct and to get ready for the detailing, basically. So the first week I did stones, and then the week after that I did roots of trees and a little bit of the trees as well. And then I did skulls, and then I moved over to insects, and then over to big animals. Then I used a week to kind of get familiar with inking. So the inking process I started doing on some of the sketches that I had done during the first 5 weeks, 6 weeks. And I did that for about 1.5 weeks, and then I attempted unsuccessfully to do a cityscape. I did the cityscape sketch, like the draft sketch, but I quickly realized that it would take too long to do the final sketch. So we will return to that at some point, but I'm still not entirely sure when. And when we do that, we will take a full week for it, and my plan is to introduce some Houdini into the mix in order to model the whole city part that I'm going to be building. That way we can do sketches from within the city as well. So simply just by moving the camera, we can decide where we would like to take a starting point for a sketch. But that will be in some weeks. I'm still not sure when. But as I said, this tonight we are going to be doing sketches of huts, and I will actually start. I'll start by fiddling a little bit with my settings for my pen. So let's first jump into the view of Photoshop. And now that we are in here, I will load up my Wacom Desktop Center, and I'll go into the pen settings. So the reason why I want to do this is that I have a customized curvature for how the pen works. Like basically it's the pressure sensitivity, how fast I get to around the middle, and how fast I how thinly I have to to do the pressure in order to get the thinnest line. And I'm noticing, or I have been noticing, that my pressure should be going up a little faster towards the where you're pressing full down. And I'm not entirely sure whether I can set another let's make it here, and I think I want to test it a little bit. Okay, I think that's that's good. So I will use that. And likewise, another thing that I want to do, because I have noticed that the how can you explain it? The parallaxing when I'm sitting and drawing is, even in the middle, it's a little off-centered. So where I have my pen, the tip of the pointer is a little offset on that. So I'll be calibrating the screen really quickly. It's really fast to do. You basically just push here in the, and now when I look here, now the tip is more centered where it should be. So I'll say okay and hide that, and now we are ready to start. Okay, so as I mentioned, I'm gonna be using 30 minutes on each, and I think I will actually add a little bit of background music, just so that I don't feel the need to sit and say the same thing over and over again. Then there will be, in the awkward moments, there will be something to listen to at least. Yeah. So give me a second. So let's get started with the first sketch. I'm going to attempt to use this brush that I used yesterday, which is a pencil. And the issue that I had with it was that when I was drawing, I had to really press in order for it to actually give anything. And I still do, but if I push it up a little bit, yeah, I think that will work as a pen or as a brush for this. So first I'll drink some coffee, since I'll be sitting for half an hour now. Delicious. If you don't drink coffee, then I can recommend it. It's awesome. Yes. I'll start my half an hour, and as I said, the first that I will be doing is a quick sketch of the overall structure of the image, and then after that I will move into detailing. It's roughly like this. So this is the roof that I am currently adding some information on, and then the outside, this has to go further up. Yeah, and then this goes all the way here roughly, and then you can see some of the back. And this is only like the first draft. Hold on. So this is only the first draft. Which is why I'm using this very thin line to sketch it. Let's see. This is more straight here in the back. It's not completely straight, but it is more straight, and there is something sticking out here. Like that. And here I'm specifically, I've specifically chosen this image because of the straw roof. So I'm thinking that it won't take too long to draw the rest of the image, and that will give me time to really look into how to draw this this straw roof that is on this hut. This is not actually like a Viking hut or something. I think it's a I think it's some African hut. It's around here. Okay, so I think let's see. I think that's most of that hut, and then I'll just quickly add a little bit of background information to put it in place. Let's see, comes from here. It's like this road that goes by it. The road kind of goes in front, and then it continues a little there and here. So that would be it. And now we can start on kind of the detailing. First I'll double check that my measurements are correct, since I noticed yesterday that I tended to make the roof a little higher than it should be. Give me a second. So I tended to make the roof a little higher than it should be, and I seem to have done the same again. So This time we will cheat it a little bit. There. Yeah, I think that works better. So since I want to since I want to do as much of the as much detailing as possible, why am I not being able to erase that now? That's a little bit weird. In fact, I'm not able to do anything right now. There. I'll make a new layer. Can I draw on that? Nope. Okay, I'll go with a different brush, but that is not working either. So that's pretty interesting. Can I actually do a line? So I can do a line, but it's not doing anything. Let's try and restart Photoshop. Just a few technical difficulties. Oh no, it works. That was weird. Okay. There. And then let's go back to this this brush here. Yeah. Okay, so let's start working on this now. As I was saying, I'm going to start with the lower part due to the fact that I want to dedicate the rest of the time to really try and figure out this this roof and how that should be done in the best possible way. So I'm gonna just do these lines and rotate the canvas. And this line should be a little above as well. There. Okay. And then this back. So it's a very simple hut. And this is of course the reason that I picked it. That the hut itself is simple, and depending on how much time I have, it can be more complicated in all the areas. Let's see. Then I'll quickly mark off where there's gonna be a shadow because of the roof. And this as well is okay. So with that, with that, I will start on the actual sketch of the roof. So I'm noticing that it is very bright over here, and as we realized last time, these roof or this hay has a tendency to clump up just like hair. But I don't seem to be doing a good job at showing that yet. And the question is how I do that best, since I don't want to start render individual pieces. I want it to be kind of more these strains of I wonder, I'm gonna try something. In an area. See, that might work. Oh, what the hell? Let's try it. So the problem here is that usually when you render hair, you want to start with the darks and then move toward the light colors in the hair, and you do that by actually laying down a dark background and then start working with the brighter colors. But here, of course, we don't have any brighter colors. We only have the eraser and this let's see, this will go here. We only have the eraser and the brush or the pencil. So what I'm attempting is to lay down the dark background, and then after having laid that down, then start erasing out some of the dark, so that it will look like straws that are coming into, or that has a highlight. And I have no clue yet if it's gonna work. It's an experiment. This is the reason I do these studies, to figure these things out. And if nothing else, it will warm up my hand. See, so I'm laying down kind of like these layers of straw. And we still have 13 minutes left, so I'm hoping that I will be able to finish this. But otherwise I might actually spend a little extra time on it, just to kind of like see if this experiment is going to function. Since again, that is why I'm doing this. No, it's good that I spent that time on fixing that pressure sensitivity thing, because I can already feel that it's a lot easier to get the thickness and density of the line that I want. If it interests anyone, I actually tend to go through these pens pretty fast. There is like a spring inside, and after a while the spring will start to make noises every time you do a line, and once that happens, then there's only one thing to do, and that is to replace it, in order for you not to get bothered by that. I want it thicker here in the end. At the moment it's not thick enough, and then I also want it to not look like I stopped right there. But that it's more evenly spread. Now, turn the canvas a little bit. I don't know if this is gonna work, but we'll see. We will figure it out together. Thank you, Fatman Leg, for the hosting. So today we are continuing with the huts, and right now I am attempting at making a straw hut, or a straw roof on a hut. and I'm doing it in the same way as I would do hair, and I have absolutely no idea if it's gonna work or not. We will just have to figure it out. And as it is always customary on my channel, I use half an hour on each individual sketch that I'm doing, and I will be doing as many as I have energy for tonight. Now that we are finished with the straw almost, there still needs to be like more here. I kind of like want it as thick as over there and also as cool looking. So I'll work it a little bit more, and I'll start working in some thicker, darker strains. It's kind of like the shadow underneath. So this would be like the shadow side. For those of you on Fatman Lex channel that hasn't seen my channel yet, even though he has been hosting me quite a few times, I would like to point out that I'm currently running a giveaway that will end the 1st of June, and the winner gets a portrait painting of their choosing done by me on stream live, and I will go through the process of how I create portrait paintings, and one could actually learn quite a bit from that, I think, if one was so inclined. And all you have to do in order to be part of this is to like my channel. That would be follow my channel. And if you do that, then you're automatically in the draw for this. And what else is there to say about that? Yes, for every half an hour you are watching my channel. Additionally, you are receiving another ticket in the lottery. Okay, so here I'm noticing that I have to also make it a little bit thicker, and I have to start looking into adding these strains that come out on their own. They're very important because they break up the monotony of the whole thing and makes it look like it is handmade and not machine made. So I'll be sure to add those, and a little more thickness here in the top. Now it's so much there already that we can start to kind of like just make these we don't have to make it completely strains anymore. And now I will try with this going with the eraser, and I will have to turn the canvas a little bit. We have 5 minutes left, so let's see how that goes, because as I said, I have no clue, and I'm starting to wonder whether I should actually do it with the eraser and then put the eraser as a soft round maybe even make it smaller and put pressure sensitivity on. Maybe not pressure sensitivity. Yeah, that's better. And now I'll just start erasing out areas and that hopefully gives a little bit extra texture. I don't know, maybe it doesn't work that way. Now when I add back, then those areas are lighter. Yeah, that works. Now it starts to get this layer on top of layer of this hay. Now with 3 minutes left, I think that's it for the roof, and I will still see if I have a little bit of time for some detailing on the non-roof. So first of all, there is this shadow here that I'll have to add. And now I have to start working pretty fast for that. And over here as well. There is more shadow down here where it goes in behind these strains, and it's the back. And here the top of this, which is kind of like a door. You make these thicker so that we can see them, and then the door has like a painting of windows. I guess they couldn't afford real windows. There. Okay, and let's see what else is there. What else can we do? Oh, there was more shadow here. Just add this shadow like this. Don't really have time to do a real shadow, just this is a sketch. So, and now we could maybe even do this again, since now there's a lot more. Yeah, see, now it comes out. Brilliant. How awesome is that? And I learned something as well before you leave me. This is made up of this cork, so we will add a little bit of texture on the cork itself, and it has a little bit of this ruffled so add some of that as well, just to break up these big white areas. and it goes in a little bit here where some of this has scratched off. And now the timer is up, and of course I could have used a lot more time on it, but I am not going to. I am gonna go straight for the next one after indicating that there is a deep shadow here because the door is sticking out. And this has a little bit of local value, so we will give it that. But that's it for this one. So that was the startup sketch. I will add a new layer and then I will move to the next one. And let's see what could be interesting here. Yes. I think this is kind of like a Hawaiian hut. We will reset the timer and start again. We won't start again yet. I first need something to drink. Cheers. Delicious coffee. Okay. Let's start this timer. And as always, I'm going to be starting with the main shape. And try and match the main forms. And then work from there. Let's see. This goes in like this. And the same here. So it's just a quick sketch. Usually I spend around 10 minutes on this, just to get all of the proportions correct, and then after that it becomes easier to kind of render things. I will just rather than alone again. So I'll continue now. Let's see. It's like around here. It goes in and then here, and then there's this bridge, goes to one here. And then the floor comes here. Fits with that. Oh. Floor hits or fits with the thing, and the floor has some volume. So this is a really quick sketch of it. And there is these here in the middle. There is a big one that goes down here. And this goes a little further down. And there's a stick that goes down. And here in front, there is one. In here there is these connections. These are on around the same length, and these are not. Here is also, and then here behind. This one here in front as well. And let's see. Now this ends here, and then there's a. So I'm spending the first 10 minutes on this, just so that it becomes correct. And let's move that to there, and then this goes over here to that one. Now when I'm watching this, I get this sudden urge to watch Rambo for some reason. I guess it reminds me of these places that he always got caught or taken captive and had to go and save people. This goes a little up, and now we are starting to add more definition to the lines as we are adding them. Let's see, there is a pin here that, oh yeah, okay, so these pins actually, or railings, they don't actually go into the ground or into the water. There is a special one for that. And they have to be around the same length. And then there is this railing down. Right, like that, and yeah, then it has this this cross these. And we should be able to see a little bit of the back one. It's the front one. It's connected to this beam. And we'll finish off with the roof. So the next beam that we're going to do goes down into the water. Now we can get these two beams, or it's like the floor, so draw this one. So we're gonna build it kind of like from the floor up. Just because once we have the floor, then we know how high it has to be until the ceiling and stuff. Make this a thick line, and this one should also be there. Let's see. Thank you, you're not a bot for the host, the secondary host, I guess. Much appreciated. We will continue with this this floor out to the last of these beams that goes down, and that one is then it goes down into, it's probably something that has been put into the ground in order, or into the water in order to hold it better. Like it looks like this concrete block. So we'll give it some local color on one side. There. And let's see a little bit of the top line of it as well. And now we can put the rest of the floor, which was there. And that means that now we can start on this railing. Since let's see, so the horizon line is actually right here. which means that this railing should be almost straight. Like only go a little bit upwards, really not a lot, because it's over the horizon line. And then here it comes on an angle, so it has to follow, let's see, goes that far up there. So it has to go over to that one. Those lines are really not straight at all, nor are they thin enough, but it will have to do. It goes too far down, I can see on the that's better, and then erase all of this extra that came. And then there's an ending here, and then a smaller railing here. Let's see, the railing here is kind of this, it has this pattern. And in here we can start to see some of the house. And it's in shadow, so we'll hide it straight away. Then moving over here, you can also see some of the inside. Give it some shadow as well. And of course the top here we can kind of like see all the way there's like some form of beam going here. No, this is too thick shadow. So there was this beam thing, and then these planks. And here we can of course continue to see the planks. Yeah. Now I'll just add these segments in the wood that will hopefully help it read as wood planks. I should probably have been more straight with them, but okay. And here is the end of the house, and again the lower part is in shadow, and then we can see a little bit of the plank. And here is a railing. This in here is gonna be There's planks as well. It's gonna be more in shadow. Should be able to see some of the. That is too far up. There. And then we should be able to see some of these from the background as well. And that means that these in front, they will have to be thicker in order for them to read like if they are here in the front. And then this reads like the background. Let's see. 10 minutes left, so let's drink a little. Cheers. Okay. So if we can see that from there, it means that we can see roughly the same in the back here. And it means that we can see these pins in the back as well. And the back railing. And now we know where to get, or where to draw the extra ones from the back. There. And then here we had this floor. Have to take some of that. Continue the floor. And that was not that, so let's continue the floor here. Yeah. Let's see. Continuing here with this block. I'm noticing that this block was actually a lot bigger, the one that is standing in the middle here in the water. So we'll start adding these water lines in order to make it look more like it's in water. And that is the worst waterline I've ever seen. And there was this one that goes in front of the other one. And we can see a little bit of the top of it. And then the one behind. And this one. That also was behind. I want to place this one differently. Place it even closer. doesn't go quite as far down. So this one is it's of course in darkness, but then due to the water, it throws light up as it gets reflected. It means that the bottom half, or the bottom part of it, is lit up a little bit. Kind of like this. Could do it more detailed, but I only have 5 minutes left on this one, so. That was really bad. Just can't make those today, it seems. There, that's better. And then again this one in the back, which is on the other side. So all of these that are on the other side are put in darkness, and then I will take away a little bit of the bottom again, because that's where they get the most light. No, that one has to be like that because of the one in front. Okay, and then these planks. There was planks here as well. There. And then it was this behind was more in shadow, like because it's further in, so we'll darken it up a little bit. Let's see, 2 minutes left. That means that we don't really have a lot of time for the roof. So I'll leave that there now, so that I can start on the roof at least. Just to give it a little bit at least. left. I think we might just have time to add at least a little bit here. It won't nearly be enough, but at least there is something. No, that would then be what we had time for on this one. Just adding a few more of these in these areas that are barren. Yes, and then I'll quickly calculate. There should be here. Of these that goes down into the ground here, or into the water there, and one on this side that we can't see, and one over here, which would be here behind this one, so we can't really see that one. Okay, that was that one. So I am going to take a 5-minute break now, and once I come back, then we will continue on the next one. So be right back.
Change your mind.
And I'm back. So we'll just do this. And let's see. Just quickly adding to these. Okay. So that was the first two. The first one, well, I'll quickly look over them myself to see what I have done wrong. So the first one, I had a lot of time for the straw, and it turned out kind of okay-ish. And the next one, I didn't have time enough for the straw, but what I added, it seems like it was pretty okay-ish. So that's important for me to know for the next ones that I'll do, in case that those are from straw as well, or with a straw roof. So we will open the next place and make ready. And let's see. Now I'll find a reference that I like. Okay, so let's up the level a little bit here. I am going to do one that is made completely out of straw. So half an hour we have, and I shall start now. So as always, I'm going to start with a touch is not working. Hold on. With kind of a outline sketch in order to get the proportions correct. So let's start from the ground. And I'm only looking at the actual form. And I'm keeping the line loose. You can probably almost not see it. I'm keeping it pretty loose because of this one uses a lot of contrast in order to show the difference in the hay. So it's a little thinner on the top, goes down, and comes to this cut in of a door. And it rounds over. And the ground is pretty straightforward. I'm adding a little bit of the front of the ground here and a little behind since that will it will better give some form of perspective on it. Not that I really need the perspective, but in order to read it as a viewer, we would need it. Okay, so I'm noticing that this area here, which I marked, is very bright. So I will start down here, and I will start with adding these dark straws again, which are basically just lines to begin with, and then once we start to thanks for the host again, Fatman Lek, much appreciated. So we are again doing some straw, and I'm starting to work on this. It's basically one straw hot, the whole thing, and it allows me to really get practice in with this layering in my sketch. Now I'll start to add darker lines, which will be the ones behind the front ones that gets lit up. And it's the same over here. There's some that goes in over this entrance, and there's gonna be a shadow here. And so on the first one that we did, I noticed that once I added the shadow, it kind of ruined the straw strains that I'd been painting. So I'm going to add the shadow straight away. And it's like really dark, so we will start adding it really dark. Again, I am running a giveaway, and all you have to do is follow my my channel, and the giveaway will end the 1st of June, and you get one ticket by following me, and subsequently after that a ticket for every half an hour you are watching. And even though we are almost at the end of the giveaway time, or the watching time, you can still win, and you can win a portrait painting of your desire that you can, for example, use as your portrait if you want here on Twitch, or just for yourself. And it can be of anything, of your favorite animal, of your children, or your significant other. It's up to you. I'll start adding a little bit of layering here and split it up, since a lot of this will be very very light. And we still have 22 minutes, so hopefully I will have time to do the whole thing. And of course, some of them are laid in a different angle than the rest. So how is everyone doing today? I'm hoping you're all doing well. Soon you will leave me and get to see somebody play a video game instead. Let's see, there is more contrast here, especially in the bottom part. This is actually the perfect subject to study when using a new brush like I'm doing, because you really get to know the brush. Let's see, here is a dark spot, and here here in the top, I'm trying to do it just as I would with the top of hair, because I guess again, it, to me at least, it reminds a lot of how you would draw hair. So it has this tendency to clump up, kind of like hair does. And again, in this area that I showed, I will try and forgo adding too much since it's so bright that you practically can't see, like there is practically no shadows in this area here. Okay, let's see. I think we are almost ready to start with adding the bright parts within these areas. Just add a little more dark down here. And overlap this a little bit. We still have 16 minutes left, so can really go nuts. This has to be a little bit of shading here. Same up here. A few strains here in the spotlight. There. Perfect. And now we will switch to the eraser again, and a thin eraser, and then I will start erasing out the parts that where we have these highlighted strains. And specifically here in the right in front of the hole. This will help a lot with breaking up the holes, the square that the hole basically is. Okay, and then we will go back to the normal one and add a little shading to those, and that will kind of like make the ones that are not being shaded pop even more. And then we can start working on some of these areas that only has the line and not line endings. And over here there's more shadow as it goes down to the ground. Still remember to add them in different lengths so that they don't all look the same length. We need a little more here. So in order to get it to look round, we are gonna have to shade it more on the sides. So that's the way that you cheat a little bit. It's not really actually cheating now that I think about it more, because that's just how objects work. That as they go away from you, or their faces go away from you, the shadow is compacted, so it seems, or the color is compacted, so it seems like it's more shaded. And here as well, we need some strings that are like a little longer, since it looks like all of them stop at the same place. Hmm, 9 minutes still. And then I will start to add some deeper, darker ones. In order to shade the sides. Now that we have laid the groundwork, we can do it in these, instead of in lines, we can kind of do it in these zigzag patterns. Now probably in the end still go over with the eraser and erase some of them out again. Oh yeah, and then this in here has to be shaded. It's not completely in. There. Give me 1 second. Okay. Yeah. So just continuing adding contrast. Yes. Yes. Unfortunately, this new April update of Windows has disabled the ability to disable notifications, which was a thing that I really liked. Okay. So now that that is done, we can work a little bit on this this ground floor. Just adding a little bit of local value. Because right now the HUD doesn't appear to be having any highlight. It only appears to have shadows, since the median value on the outside is as bright as the highlight, and that's why I'm doing this light shading, I guess you could call it. You might even make it with a bigger brush. Just to get some color out, or some value out there. Here in the background. You just have to be careful not to do too much there. And then I can announce that I have just received the invitation to the affiliate program. So that's thanks for that, guys. You have helped me there. I'll have to set it up later. But that is completely on you guys. So big hearts to you all. And that will mean that after this June giveaway, that will probably be the last one that is done to follow us, and then it will start being subscribers every month. So at that point, by subscribing to my channel, you will be in the competition to win the monthly portrait painting. I think that was that one. It actually turned out pretty well, I have to say. Like I'm pretty happy with the result. Of course, if could spend hours on this, but I really like how it turned out. So thanks Cloud FM for hosting, much appreciated. And that was that. I am going to actually take 5-minute break to get some more coffee and stuff, so I'll be right back. And I am back. So, what should we do next? I'm gonna start by adding another layer, which is the one I'm going to be which is the one I am going to be drawing on. And then we have to find a reference. And for the last one for tonight, let's find a cool reference. Is this in a good resolution? No. But there's too much straw on that one. Hello and welcome back. I am just about to find a new reference, and I want it to be a cool one. Let's take this one. That seems appropriately cool. So I am once again going to start with a small sketch that kind of lays down the lines that I'm going to be doing, and then after that I will start on the final sketch. This is a clay house, I think somewhere in the desert, so probably down in some Arabic country. I like this image because the perspective is pretty cool. I remember when I was searching for references and saw this one, I immediately thought that will be a cool one to draw. So if you have just joined me for the first time, I use 30 minutes, and now of course I forgot to start my timer. Now it started. So I use 30 minutes to do a sketch, and I start with this small sketch, or this thin sketch first, and then I start adding details after that, once I'm satisfied with the proportions of what I'm drawing. And I must be blessed because this is at least the second time today that I have been hosted by Fatman Lek. So much appreciated, Fatman Lek. Thanks a lot. It is extremely hard for creative streams here on Twitch. So every hosting counts, and I can actually announce that I have just received the email like 15 minutes ago about the affiliate program. So, and that is definitely mostly thanks to the hostings that I have been receiving over the past month or so. And I know it might be boring for most of you guys who come to see video games, but we are actually a small community of people who draw as well, and hope to make a living showing other people how to draw. And if you like what you see, then feel free to follow, and you will actually be in contention for a giveaway the 1st of June, where I will draw the winner, and the winner will be receiving, I will draw live a portrait painting for them of their choosing, that, for example, can be used as the profile picture in here or somewhere else or whatnot, and it can be of practically anything. Unless it is racist or homophobic or pornographic. I'm not gonna draw because it's against the rules, and plus homophobic and racist I cannot abide to. So, but it could be of your favorite, either yourself or your children or your niece, or your favorite animal, your favorite game character even. There is the sky is the limit on this, almost. This is the reason why I like this one. It has like these weird stones that goes in, that are like molded into the clay, kind of like on Dark Maul's head in a way. I have this feeling that they got inspiration from this type of buildings for his head. How about that? There's one here. So this is basically what I do every Tuesday to Sunday from 9 or 21 Central European time. I sit and I draw sketches and try and learn something from them and try and share what I learn. Try and have fun with it. Now I'll start adding these thicker lines to the sketch and make it a little more what would you call that? A little more detailed. That was the word that I was looking for. So I'm noticing that there is this around the door, there is kind of like this molded doorway. And now I'm starting to think how to kind of like show that in when I'm adding the shadows, they're called. is a stick that holds up the door or holds it all up, and there's one here as well that I'll add. And then there is kind of like these boards that go in, and then there's a deep shadow here. And I'm going to crosshatch that, since I don't have time to make a real deep shadow. So one trick is to do this cross hatching. Basically just draw like this on top and then mark the end, and now we can start adding these boards, and be sure to add them into the shadow there. And the boards, they look like something they have just found and put them there. They are not they're not straight boards that you can buy at the woods shop. There is some of those, and of course that gives direction. They should probably even here go deeper inwards like this instead. See, now it looks like it goes in deeper. Because of the angle that they're drawn on. There, let's say that's it, and then we can see these boards that goes across here, that they are trying to hold up. There, and now we can make this entrance a little thicker in the lines so that it stands out, and the same for this stone area that is here in the front. I'm still trying to keep a loose hand when I'm drawing. Just received an email about how to clean my Mac. Thank you to you, spammer, since I haven't run Mac for quite a while. What a dumbass. And I certainly wouldn't be taking their advice on how to clean my Mac. Yes, I know. No, I do not. Oh my god. Here I am going to add a little bit of shadow on the outside, and that should make it look like it's kind of like rounded. And then I will make the line thicker as well, so it automatically inherits like if there is a shadow. And the same would go for here. So I'm just making this cross thing and then making a thicker line. And I think that will be good enough to show, and then here as well we can add a little thicker because we can draw it into the other one. That should make it look like it's rounded now. And let's add a little more thickness to this shadow. Like that, and it goes a little like that. Let's see. And then the top line, hold on. The top line here is it's a little too straight, so we will make that a little thicker. And then here is where the shadow is on this. And we will hatch in the shadow. Let's see, yeah, that's all in shadow. And then rehatch in between the already hatched, so that shadow seems to be thicker. And finally a little bit of shading. And then up here we will shade a little extra where the shadow starts, because we want a good contrast between the part that is not in shadow and the part that is. Okay, and here there's going to be a shadow because it rounds a little. We still have 15 minutes left, so I'll continue with looking at these. Like for example, here would be a cast shadow on this side, and it would actually continue over here. It'll be a little bit thicker in the line there because it's the shadow side. And the same up here. And then I'll add a quick shadow to these to give them some mass. There. And let's see, this shadow, it goes down here. More like this. So now we can shape that in as well. And I will turn the canvas a little. And then add this shadow. Now I won't make it too thick because there is still coming some light. And So not that many days ago we figured out that the best way to add this type of shadow is to split up the parts that become separated. So this should be shaded on its own, and this in here, because they're gonna have like different different texture because of the shadow. And on this side, since it's now on the shadow side, we will have a little more shadow there. Like that. And likewise on this side, since it comes from there and this turns that way around. So we'll make that a little thicker. And then fade it out. Like that. It doesn't have to be completely. Here there is some cracks in the concrete. In fact, there is a lot of cracks, but we'll start by adding the big ones where on the shadow side since these cracks, they kind of like go together, and on this side the cracks seem to be more smaller, but it's because it's turning around. And let's see, this part will be. So I'm all the time looking at how to show that something is in shadow. Now I'll make it smaller. It then does mean that I have to push harder. But it allows me to add smaller details. So it's like cracked into these smaller areas, and then we'll make the lower part of them darker. There. And over on this side we can't really see them that well, but there is a few. There. Then it's these stones. And there I'll basically be going through like which ones are turned away from the light, and then I will shade that. And I'll shade the parts that are turned away from the light source, and because of this we know that the light source comes from up there, and because of that we know that this part will be shaded a little more. Just adding some indications of local color. And 7 minutes left, so I will continue on this one behind it. The further behind though, let's see, there's going to be a shadow here. So the further behind it though, the less detailed it's going to be. It's actually more like this that the shadow will be. So you can add that straight away. And again, I'm gonna add it in layers. Okay. And then here's a stone. We're not gonna really go into details on the stones of these stones that it has. We're just quickly gonna add them. There. And then there is some form of holes here. It's probably what they would refer to as windows. And let's see, this is kind of going up a little bit. A quick shadow since we don't have that much time left. And then, so we know on this side there's going to be a little bit of a shadow. I'm just adding that quickly. And the same on this one. It's going to be a shadow here. And one here. And then since this is the shadow side, we will make the line thicker. There's a little bit of cracking here as well. I'll go down in line. And since this is in shadow as well, we are going to add a shadow the whole way over. There. Again, you can start adding deeper here in the end, deeper lines, and really get down with the lines, especially here on the shadow sides. Where we have been doing it a little bit too thin. And finally shade this a little bit better. Where it's in complete shadow. Now that we have the time. And that was it. That was the stream for today. I would like to thank you all for coming and hope to see you again. And to the YouTube users that are watching this as a what? I would like to thank you for watching the what. And if you want, you can come and hang out. We're pretty chill in my channel, so come and say hi, and as always it's appreciated. So yeah, that was that. Let's do like we do, and how was it? Arrange two next to each other, and then we can see how it became. So that was a little too much. So here they are. So we started with this one, and we practiced this this roof, and then we went on to this one and tried a different type of roof because of the time issues, and then finally we really dug into the and I can see now that there should have been some thicker contrast areas. I will have to remember that. And finally, we did this clay hut thing, and that was pretty okay as well, I guess. So thanks a lot, and hope to see you tomorrow when we continue with these sketches. Have a nice evening, and thanks for coming. Bye.